Hello and welcome back to another video. We are back here in the single player. Like I promised, this world isn't going away even though I joined Lucid. So I've got some exciting things for today. I've actually already planned it out, so I already know how exciting it is. But before we get to the exciting thing, I wanted to address some of my suggestions in the comments like I always do. And of course, the first thing I have to address is my truck, because I've been mentioning this truck since I built it as people keep on suggesting stuff. And the latest suggestion was to add headlights and taillights, which I already had. They suggested red in the back, which I already have here, but it does like blend right into the item frame, so I can't blame them for not noticing it. But the suggestion for the front was to put yellow up here, assumably instead of this white. So that is not how you put it in the item frame. That was so strange. So I don't know if this is actually better. I did kind of test this before I actually recorded it. I don't know how I feel about it. I think I almost like it more. At first I was like, the white looks better, but then you just kind of feel it for a bit. And it's like, I don't know, there's something nice about it. So I don't know, leave a comment about my truck yet again, telling me if you like the white or the yellow better, or even better, a new suggestion that I can address in the next video. I have to keep on bringing this thing up. Now, the other suggestion, well, there was a lot of suggestions about the new build that I made. And in this video, we're not actually going to do the interior because those two floors don't have interiors yet. So I'm not actually going to address some of the comments, or like the comments about the signage and stuff, just because I don't really have time. If you've seen the thumbnail, you understand why. I've been focusing on this other build instead, but I at least wanted to address something here. The person said that I should get rid of the exclamation points and maybe just add like an S, so it could be pastas. And then the suggestion over here was I could do the same, where I could make it pizzas, or they said, and I kind of liked this, it was to have this sign over here spell Italia instead of pizza, which I kind of like. Actually, they didn't specify that this one specifically should say Italia. They said one of them could, and I kind of didn't like that it said pizza on there because I don't know. I didn't feel like this place would really serve pizza. I don't know why, but Italia makes sense. So I kind of love that idea. Now, the main portion of this video is going to happen over here. Again, if you've seen the thumbnail, you know exactly what I'm going to make. And this is actually a rare build that I've actually planned out in creative first, which is not something I've been doing in this world before. But the inspiration for this build was so big and large, it was like, it was going to take me forever to do it in survival, where, you know, you test out blocks, you break them or whatever, like on this big scale. So I kind of had to plan it out in creative first. And then I'm using a mod called Lightmatica, where you like take essentially a schematic, sort of like the blueprints for the build that I built in creative. You get like the blueprint for it, and then you can, here, I'll actually show you. This will make so much more sense if I just show you guys. Here's the actual, what it's going to look like. And then it makes it very easy to just come in and place the blocks where they are. And you can even like have it display layer by layer. And so it's really cool. And so I'm going to use that to make it easy. And it also tells you exactly what materials you need. So I've got all my materials here, which is a lot of stuff, but you know, it makes it easy when you got the full list. You know, you don't accidentally get more than you need. It's kind of nice. And instead of like I normally would do, which is kind of take you along the process or explain some of my colors and stuff that I do beforehand, I'm going to do that after I show you the build, because I don't know, it's just it's so beautiful, and I just want to build it in this world, and then I'll share it all with you. Okay, I finally finished it, and it's beautiful. I love it. We're gonna hop on down over here because I want to get a good vantage point for this. And I mean, honestly, we could even back up even more with the free cam, because it just looks so good. And I think the further you go away, the better it looks. Not that up close looks bad, though. It's just, there's something so amazing about this build. I put a lot of effort into it, and I feel like I kind of hit a stride with the colors, and the block choices for things, and just so much stuff. So I'm going to go all into it. Just kind of, let's just start with the colors first. How about, I wanted this color here for these pillars, right? I was looking for something that looked that color for kind of the whole, I don't know, bottom part of this. Kind of like a limestone color or something along those lines. And so I was looking through the different blocks in the game, and I saw this one, and I was like, that's perfect. And then I saw the mushroom blocks because I was trying to figure out like what's kind of similar to this. And there was a lot of things that were darker colored. Not many things that were lighter or like the same exact shade. Like this is a very unique color. But this worked out being darker because it would be slightly further back. And so I kind of hit something special with that where it makes those pillars then pop because it looks like this is dark and recessed behind it, which is exactly what you're going for. I mean, it's already 3D anyways because it's already sticking out, but like it feels extra like that, which is really, really cool. I put little things underneath the windowsills like I always do. I added some of these. This blends in really well. The jungle planks blends in really well with the mushroom blocks, those brown ones. When you like go far back, it just kind of like, it feels like that mushroom block just is in the shape of that. It doesn't feel like there's a stair there. And then these ones also kind of blend together a bit when you go back, not quite as much, but they look a little recessed then, which is actually a good thing. So I'm actually really happy with how that was. Then if we go up a bit further, we've got some of these lighter blocks that are, I made them lighter because I wanted it to look like it was popping out a bit, like towards us, right? There's a trim that goes across this section that comes out, which it does kind of look like that. And the trim that comes out, I wanted it to kind of look like almost like a stair block, right? Facing out in this direction. With this right here. So, you know how like stairs, they've got like this recessed part and like even more recessed down there. I was kind of going with that with like these darker sections, kind of make it look like it's further back. And then you've got like the light that hits like the very edge of the stair. And then, you know, I don't know. I think it kind of works. It's not like perfect exactly what I'm trying to say, but it fits that what I wanted. And it also just looks generally cool. Even if it doesn't quite create that optical illusion, I think it still looks good. Then we go even further up. I needed something very light colored for this section because I was going for, I don't know, just a much lighter looking stone, which sandstone worked out well, but there's actually a lot of sand up here. And that's because I wanted these to look lighter, like they were sticking out a bit, than this section here, which was going to be recessed. And then this, which is going to be recessed even more, which it actually physically is. And that's just how that one works. But when you zoom away, and they almost blend together. I mean, if you go further enough away, you can't really tell. But if you're in sort of the mid-range, you can see that those sandstone parts kind of stick out more than the sand parts. And so it's just very small feel because it isn't very strong, but it's just, it makes it feel like there's little posts there, you know, that stick out just slightly and catch the light more. So I thought that was really cool. Put little clocks in because that looked cool and I could, and why not? The sandstone was also used here, down here, kind of in the same way. There's like lighter sections that go like this, and then there's a darker section down here, as if there's like a part that's slightly recessed in this shape. And then they also fit the frequency of these pillars. So that's kind of cool. And then we've got this roof, and it just, I mean, I love the green color of this. I picked the slightly less powerful green, right? Like this is like a very powerful one. I've used that color even on that one over there, which I love, that build. This one I went exclusively with this lighter one. Maybe I'll come in later and like kind of try to shade it like I have done with some of these. But it's like, it looks so good as is. I don't want to mess it up, and I'm worried I'm going to mess it up. But, you know, maybe I will. We've got these big, like, almost domes up here. They're not quite like a half circle. They're more like oblong, like ovals almost, that kind of stick out. And something that's really cool about them, because when we come up close, you can see that it looks absolute chaos up here, right? There's a bunch of little pieces of green stained panes all over. And it just looks, I don't know, it looks crazy. But when you're far away, which is how you're going to view the top of this thing, because even if you're down here, right? You're down here and you're looking at it from down here, you can't see that there's glass panes up there. You're too far away already, just being down below. So you're never going to be close enough where it actually becomes a problem. And when you view it from far enough away, you can't tell that there's panes. It just blends in. And the part that's really cool about this, and maybe this requires a bit of an explanation. Okay, so here's my explanation for why I put all those glass panes up there. Let's say you have an edge in Minecraft, right? You have something like this. It's a bit of a line, and then you have this as like a color that's next to it, right? It's pretty harsh going from this color to this color, and when you look away, you want this to be like a straight line, right? You want it to look that way. That's what you want to do. But it's blocky. It looks blocky. And if you were to zoom far and far and far enough away, it might not look blocky, but it's hard because, I don't know, Minecraft's made of big blocks. So what people do is they usually go along this line and they kind of take these other blocks that kind of blend it a bit more. And this is just a rough job just to show you. But then it feels less like it's a harsh edge and it feels like, I don't know, it's a softer edge and it feels more straight. This is a very small example, but this is what they call anti-aliasing in computer graphics, because your screen is just a bunch of pixels, and when your like resolution is really low, you can see the lines, particularly on small things on that, big screen, because it only is made up of a few pixels then. So this is very common for text on the screen. It looks too pixelated, but what your anti-aliasing does is smooth out the lines by kind of blurring essentially the edges of them to make it seem like they're smooth. And so that's why text doesn't look really pixelated on your screen, unless you're talking about like Minecraft text. Like this is obviously meant to be pixelated, the text on here, but in other things on your computer, it doesn't want to look pixelated. And so in Minecraft, a lot of people have started doing kind of the blurry look in between lines to make them look softer and more defined almost in a way. It's kind of weird. And so if we want to do this on a big scale like this dome up here, right? The unfortunate thing is, right, like let's take this stone for an example. You're building up an edge. We'll do something like this. And we have this edge, right? And we want it to make it look more smooth. There's no way to do that because the background could be anything, right? It could be the sky over here if you're looking this way. It could be this build over here. It could be that build over there, depending on how you're looking at it, because it's all 3D, unlike a 2D world, which you always know what's going to be kind of next to it, sort of. And so the idea is you can literally put something transparent right next to where the edge is, and now it kind of blends with whatever's behind it. So if it's the sky, it's going to blend with that sky color, making it slightly more gray. If it's this, it's going to blend with that. It's whatever behind it is going to blend with it. And again, if you're looking very close at these, supposed pixels, these blocks, it doesn't look great. But you have to like go really far away and look at it, and it stops looking as sharp and blocky of a curve, and it looks more smooth of a curve, because that's just how our eyes see those kind of lines. And so when we look at the top of this build, it feels more smooth of an outline. You can still see where there's literal blocks coming out where it, looks like the staircase effect, which obviously isn't like perfect anti-aliasing then, because it's supposed to like totally get rid of the staircase effect. But for Minecraft, this is about as good as you can get. And it's something that I haven't seen anyone do before. And so because I haven't seen anyone do it before and I just thought of it, I feel really proud that I've come up with this cool technique for making this dome look more smooth. I was watching one of B-Dubs' recent videos. I always talk about his stuff, so it was no surprise I was going to bring his up. And he talked about how he made his dome that he recently made smoother by adding these walls into it. And it kind of got rid of the shadow in between. And I really wanted to do something like that originally, but there's no walls for copper blocks. So I was trying to come up with other ideas. And then I came up with this glass, and I realized, you look at it straight on and it doesn't really hide the shadows in the blocks. Like you can still see shadows in different parts of it. So it's not really getting rid of the shadows, but what it is doing is on the edge of the dome, from any angle you see it, it makes it look smoother, which is exactly what I wanted. I mean, I wanted it to also look smooth directly on, but also at the edge look smoother. So in a way, I found a way to make it look smoother, but just not the way that I originally wanted to do it. I don't know. It's very cool, and I'm very proud of myself. And let's see, what else is there that's really cool? Oh, these windows are really cool. So I didn't want to do an interior. If we go look inside, it's empty because I haven't planned it. And so I didn't want to just have windows into emptiness because that looks really bad. So a lot of times you just put like something really dark colored behind it, which I ended up doing. But I picked something that has a bunch of lines on it. It's the chiseled bookshelves that are actually back here. But when you look from far away, it looks like it's got one of those windows with like lines going across the windows. You know, it's got a frame in the window. I don't know what that's called, but that's what it looks like. And I thought it was really cool because I've never seen someone use chiseled bookshelves for that before. I've seen people use other things, but I think the chiseled bookshelf one actually looks really cool because it's got the dark parts that definitely make it look like it just goes into nothing, but then the light parts that make it really stand out. And I put some brown stained glass in front of it, which I feel like I think it helped it. Because without it, it would look too bright. It made it a bit darker, but not in a way that like makes it noticeable. So I don't know, I kind of like that. And let's see what else. I've got a little like figurehead sort of here. I didn't know what to put here, and I was like, oh, it's got to be some cool symbol. And so I made this weird shape, and to me it kind of looks like a person, like that's crouched over and then with their head down. So like this is their face right here, and then like this is some hair or something, and they're like squatting with their butt out. I don't know. That's kind of what I see, but it also could be really anything. I literally just put some blocks in a little 2x2 and called it good. But I think it's kind of cool. We got little statues out front, little guys holding these little materials, and it's because I wanted to have this place be a museum, and so I thought, oh, you know, natural history museum, that's a type of museum people have. This might be more than just natural history, but like, I don't know, it's showing little rock specimens out front. You know, they're like, look at the rocks. That's what's inside, or something like that. And then we've got these trees and these little gardens, which I think they're the best trees that I've made yet. If we go look at the other trees I've made, we made this one, which was supposed to be a cork oak tree, which I also made the other ones look like cork oak, but this is my original attempt at it. And while I really liked it at the time, I feel like my new ones are thinner. They literally are thinner, but that makes them better. This one was too thick, and it makes it look weird now. It was good before, but now I've made something better, and so now I don't like this one anymore. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it was like the last tree I made, and all of a sudden I don't like it anymore, but that's just how life is. And then the even more original one that we made was over here, which is just so small in leaves, and it wasn't meant to be any type of specific tree, and it's okay. You know, it does what it needs to do, but I feel like, you know, there's definitely progress here. There's the starter tree, there's I'm actually trying to do a specific tree and trying to do it a bit better, and then there's where I am now, which is just a lot better. And if I had to pick my favorite out of these two, I would say this one's my favorite, which is actually weird because I made this one second. So you'd think I would make the better one last, you know, I would have figured out what was wrong with the first one and then made a better one. But the truth is I did it better the first time on here, and then the second one I did is still really cool. Like, I'm not saying it's bad, it's not this one, and I love this one. This one's just, the shape of it looks really nice, the leaf shape especially, like not just the branches, but the leaf shape is really nice. This one's like, it's also good, but yeah, the branches aren't quite, I don't know, I tried to improve this one, but there's still a little bit of something that's like, it could be better, right? And then we've got little gardens down here. So we've got a little bench where you can sit down. We've got little bushes going around, some grass and stuff, and these little pink petals, which I love. I saw there was little flowers over here, so I was like, what if the flowers sort of fell off, right? and they were sort of on the ground, so they were just all over. And it's so cool because with these pink petals, you could put multiple of them down to make, a big square. But if you just put one, it just puts a little thing. And it just adds this nice little detail that just makes it look so much better here. Like if I did the whole the 2x2, right? I filled it up. It would look like too much, but just a little bit looks great. I love that. I haven't used these before in like early decoration. And so, I don't know. I love how I used them here. So, me from the future, real quick, there was something that I kind of forgot to show off, and I wanted to mention it because I thought it was really cool. If we come into here, you can see that there's actually some spots in the dome above, in this main dome, not the small ones. They were too small for it. But there's some spots where I actually made holes so that light could come through. And if I get rid of these torches, so you can see what it looks like now without torches. I mean, there's still some up on the walls. But there's so much light in the center here just naturally, and that's because of these skylights up here. And so I don't think anything is going to spawn around me because I'm too close to it. But we're going to fly up here, and I can actually show you. There's some spots where I literally just took out these copper blocks and put in some full green stained like normal glass blocks, not the panes, that's what I'm trying to get at. Some blocks. And when you look from it from far away, I doubt any one of you noticed while I was explaining the whole other stuff that there was just some blocks missing and that it was just a full hole straight through it. And that's because it's a big enough dome that you can just hide that in there and you can just replace it with glass blocks. And you even look at it this way. I mean, it becomes part of the curve. You can't tell. So I thought it was a really cool idea to try to get natural light into here because originally I wanted to open up this part here where there's these mushroom blocks because I thought, oh, why have the mushroom blocks here? We could just remove them or get rid of even some of this mud here. And so light will come in through an angle. But that's not how Minecraft sunlight works. Oh, gosh. Okay, I was getting attacked. I should not have done that. I will deal with it later. What I was trying to get at, and I've made a bit of a mob farm now, but natural light in Minecraft will only go straight down. That's the only way it'll travel. It goes out a bit once it's gone straight down, but it doesn't curve and then go straight down. Like, I don't know, it's very weird. And so this was the only way that I could get it to work where we could actually have some natural sunlight. So kind of cool for the interior here. So I feel like the next thing to do is kind of work on this interior because I have big plans for what I want to put in here. But that's going to be a whole other video in and of itself because that's a big interior and I want to do it right. I don't want to just do it on a whim, right? I didn't do this on a whim. I spent a lot of time on it, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on the interior as well, I think. So I think this build turned out possibly the best that I've ever done. I don't know if my original build's still better. I really, really like that one. That one I consider like the best build before I had, this one now. But this one might overtake it, or it might be under it. I don't know. It's a bit tied right now in my mind. I gotta let this one settle for a bit before I fully decide. But I just love how I came up with such cool techniques for the roof and the windows and just a bunch of different things. And I feel like it all came together into something truly beautiful. So I hope you all have enjoyed the video. Again, as always, if you have any comments or suggestions or just really anything you want to say about this build, please feel free to leave it in the comments section. I love reading them. I always take them into consideration, as you saw at the beginning of the video. I love trying to improve my craft and get better at this type of stuff. And so I love hearing what you guys think. And if you have any suggestions just for the interior itself, honestly, if you want to say, oh, we need this type of exhibit or something, that'd be kind of cool. Because I've got some ideas, but I don't think I can fill out this full interior because it's pretty big. So I don't know, maybe like a dinosaur skeleton. Do you guys have a favorite dinosaur or something that I could put in there? I mean, that seems like classic, right? Natural History Museum classic is dinosaur. But I really do hope you all enjoyed this video. I have massively enjoyed making this build. Hopefully you guys will use some of the fun techniques I discovered in your own builds, like the glass panes up there. I think it's really cool, and so I'd love to see other people use it in the future to smooth out their edges and stuff. I think that'd be really cool. But I will see you all in the next video.